Hello, this is Nicole Nashenzi, and this is my test presentation for Williams. This presentation is going to be approximately 20 minutes long. It will have 20 slides. The sound will be embedded into this PowerPoint, so it'll be a very large file. There'll be a second presentation with the audio linked that should be smaller, that you'll see next. Well, let's start out with some fun stuff. This is my daughter and I, Umbria Marie Brymenzi, born December 22nd, 2010. Since I have to talk for 20 minutes about a little bit of everything, I thought I would have some fun stuff in here, and to me, she's the most fun thing I have going on. Really, I mean, everyone says that having a child changes your life, but it really does. I just didn't believe how much until it happened to me. Okay, well, how many of you out there know about social media, which is what some of these slides are going to touch on? Great! Looks like a room full of hands here. I always like to tell people that social media is just like a virtual cocktail party. You're networking, you're sharing information, sometimes you share photos. In this day and age, you might even show them a little video on your Blackberry or on your iPhone of your grandkids, your kids, your puppy dogs. So everyone's done a lot of social networking, whether or not it was online or offline. Here are some working definitions I have for social networking and social media. Social network is a social structure made up of individuals or organizations which are connected in some way, cause, relationship, or organization to each other. Examples of these networks are LinkedIn, Facebook, or Plaxo. Social media is the stuff that you share on these networks. The media, the words, photos, videos, links that are designed to be shared through these social networks, through social interactions, maybe liking something on Facebook, maybe tweeting out a link on Twitter. It's the stuff that makes the networks happening and happen. When I talk about social media and social networking to groups, I also talk about how communications evolve. Many of us can remember using a typewriter, whether it was a touch typewriter or an electric typewriter. Some of us may have used some of those early desktop computers. I always like to ask people if they ever used a Tandy, which was my favorite first computer. I always think that Tandy users should maybe start a club. And now we're using these very powerful, very portable laptop computers. And some of us are even lucky enough to use iPads, which are tablet computers, which are even more portable and have all kinds of business and personal applications. For me, it's a great way to show a slideshow of pictures of my new daughter. Also, we have phones. Some people remember those big bag phones or car phones that then developed into smaller, more portable cell phones. And now we have these smartphones, Blackberries, iPhones, Androids. I mean, it's really amazing. You can carry the internet in the palm of your hand. You can shoot video. You can take photos. I try to take a photo every day of my daughter on my Blackberry. And then I share it with a couple of key friends and family that want to keep up with her, since everyone's pretty far away from us. And here's the white screen with the blue men. They're kind of like utilitarian looking blue men group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 blue men, matter of fact, in this slide. How fascinating. Here's a mishmash of logos. I can tell you that at Williams, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account, and we do have several blogs. We use WordPress for our blogs. And then I will use Mashable a great deal to find out information, current events and news in the social media sphere. There's some great how-to articles on Mashable. I point people to that site if they're trying to figure out something. how to use certain functionality on Facebook, or what to do if you haven't opened Facebook for a while and while you were gone, Facebook revamped itself again, and everybody gets a little worried about that. Mashable will often have some great instructional articles and ways to make that easier for you. Dig is a way to share popular links, popular pages, and to try to get some traction, find other things that are related to what you're like and what you've liked or dug in different categories. As articles or sites get various digs or likes, then it raises in the dig rankings and it's easier for people to find. Now these numbers are kind of old. Pardon me. We were up. Speaking of my baby, we're up with my baby a lot last night. She was ill, had her first fever, and spent a good chunk of today going to doctors and getting tests run. So it's been kind of a long day. So this is really going to be a rambling test, truly a test presentation. But anyways, here's some social networks by the numbers, and these numbers are still they're kind of old, so all of these figures would be much higher now. Facebook, at least about a year ago, had 2.2 billion visits per month. Twitter had 144 million visits per month, and LinkedIn has had more than 50 million users. Time spent on social networking sites is up more than 800% since 2008. LinkedIn is really the professional social network. It's a place where people go, they set up profiles which read like virtual resumes, where they can connect to other professionals in their field, in their network, where they can be introduced through other connections to other professionals to help network for jobs. A lot of companies are utilizing LinkedIn to share open positions and to recruit people. It's a very functional social network. They adopted some Twitter and Facebook features, maybe about a year ago, to let people share news articles easily. You can have groups on LinkedIn, so you can be part of professional groups or associations. Universities will have alumni groups on LinkedIn, just as another way to connect people to each other. I heard a story recently on NPR how photographers are now developing some niche businesses and are marketing themselves as social media photographers because people need, like actors used to be the only people to need headshots. Now almost everyone needs a professional headshot to use as their avatar on all these social networking sites. So some photographers have found their niche taking those types of photos. Kind of interesting when you think about it. Facebook, of course, is the biggest social network, the most pervasive. It truly is a global social network, though it is more popular in the United States than anywhere else. If you didn't know, the fastest growing demographic on Facebook is 55 plus, so it's not just a place for high school students or college students. It's really a place for everybody. A lot of small businesses and nonprofits will decide to have Facebook pages only and not have a web page, which I think is kind of interesting. Companies like Williams are now using Facebook for recruiting. So at Williams, we post photos and videos and notes, which are more like little stories about things that are happening in our company, about some of our community outreach programs, just to let people know why Williams is a great place to work and to share information about the company and our operations. So far, I think it's been a successful venture. It's still an early venture, so we have a little ways to go with it, but it's one I'm really excited about. YouTube. So I always like to ask people if they've ever seen anything educational on YouTube, or if all they've ever watched on YouTube is are cats playing the piano, because YouTube is really filled with a lot of educational videos, how-to videos, and it's the third most popular search engine online. For example, a couple of years ago when I went to Italy, I bought one of those little stovetop espresso pots. Well, when I came back to the States, all the directions were in Italian. I don't speak Italian. I certainly don't read Italian. So instead of just Googling espresso pot, stovetop directions, I just directly went to YouTube because I knew someone must have created a how to video. And sure enough, I had dozens of how to videos to select. And I watched several of them and learned how to use my stovetop espresso pot, which I now love. Twitter. Twitter is a microblogging service. People share text based messages here in 140 characters or less. So it's succinct communication. It's very fast paced. You can do it with text only messages. You can do it right from your cell phone. You don't have to have a smartphone to use Twitter. You can do it just by text message. So it's pretty widespread. Last week, I went to a conference in Boston put on by Radian6, which is our social media monitoring software we use here at Williams. And it was really fascinating. I got to hear the social media manager from the Red Cross talk about how Twitter helped them save people during the Haitian earthquake, how people were tweeting their location underneath rubble or tweeting their relatives' location underneath rubble. Um, and how it really was a life saving tool for them. Also, Twitter enabled them to share information with lots of people. It is something they're also using as a fundraising tool. So, really, a lot of uses for Twitter. One in every 100 Oklahomans is active on Twitter, and this figure is about 2 years old, but still pretty fascinating. That's a significant portion of our population. I always suggest that people do some research before they jump into social media. Are they following all of their company guidelines? Are they following industry guidelines? Are they a regulated industry? If so, they want to make sure that they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing before they jump into using social media for their company. And I always ask people why they want to use social media. Where are your customers? Do you know that your customers are on Twitter? Do you know that they're on Facebook? Are you trying to reach potential job candidates? Are they just in the LinkedIn sphere? Are they also on Facebook? Would it be useful to post jobs on Twitter? These are all good questions to ask yourself before you jump into social media. Here's another picture of my daughter because this is my test presentation. I get to share pictures of my daughter. This is one of my very favorite presentations. Well, sure, it's one of my favorite presentations. It's one of my favorite pictures of Umbria because it's just very her. The look on her face, she's staring right into the camera. She just got done with the bath. Her father's holding her in the nursery, which we painted a bright, fun orange color. And she's just kind of relaxed, and it's just the essence of her. A lot of pictures we have, she's smiling because she's a very smiley baby. But even though she's not smiling in this one, it's one of my favorite ones. I need to have it printed on some good paper and mounted on and framed. Maybe for my cubicle at Williams. Let's see, we can talk about some other ways that people use Twitter. Twitter can be a monitoring tool. People can use it to find customer complaints. Radian6 has a really powerful suite of software that lets more business to consumer organizations quickly route tweets to the right place so they can respond to in a timely manner. I was really impressed with the new software they rolled out at the conference. They now have a mobile application, one you can use on your iPhone, one I can use on my iPad. So I'm excited with what Radian6 is offering us. Although we're not a business to consumer company, I think these applications will let us use social media more effectively. Another thing people use Twitter for is to see whether internal conversations are going external. People also use Twitter to find out about news stories, to see what their competitors are doing. I'm, a newspaper woman through and through. I spent 7.5 years in a major metropolitan newspaper, and now I get most of my news through Twitter, and definitely all of my breaking news through Twitter. It's really changing the way that people get the news and hear about things. I really think all of social media is. Social media at its heart is interactive two-way communication. I think that that two-way is very important. You're able to listen, you're able to send out information, but you're also able to respond and engage with an audience, whether it's your peers in your industry, whether it's your customers, whether it's your potential employees, your current employees. Looking at Zappos and Southwest Airlines for some great ways that people are engaging in social media. I think if people use social media just as a way to push out information, a way to push out content, it just isn't as effective. And you're missing, half of the benefit of social media, which is having that interaction with the audience you wouldn't be able to have otherwise. Example today, I put something out on Twitter. Well, actually, no, last night I put something out on Twitter that I was finding myself addicted to some baby products, these baby legs, these leggings for babies, and these really cute trumpet socks that look like shoes that are just adorable. And how fun. I mean, one of the sock companies just responded to me saying they didn't think it was a problem. It's not an issue. It's okay to be addicted to their product. And of course, it was all in jest, but it definitely made me feel even more warm and fuzzy about a brand that I was already feeling pretty warm and fuzzy about. Once people learn some of the ins and outs of social media and start utilizing it and thinking about it strategically, not just in a fun way, sometimes I think people tend to overuse social media or think that social media can cure all of your ills. It's like the saying goes, if all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. I like to remind people that social media is just one tool in their communication tool belt. It may be a very powerful, very trendy, very current tool, but it is just one tool. And it's not going to solve all of your problems, all of your issues, all of your recruiting challenges, all of your, consumer communication struggles. It's just going to be one way that you can respond to people. I like to ask people to take a minute and figure out if social media is really right for them. Um, I ask people to figure out who their market is, who their audience is, and why. What's your message? What are you going to say with social media? If you don't have anything to say, then it's probably not the place for you. And what do you want people to do when they read your messages? I mean, is it just purely informational? Is there a call to action? I think these are great things to think about. If a company has, a set of strategic communications that they want to make sure that they get across every week, every month, every day if they're, a large volume social media user. I think it's something that's good to keep referring back to. Definitely not something to lose sight of. Well, as we're nearing the end of our presentation, this is another photo. Not all photos of my daughter are happy photos, but this is one of her in her baptism gown. And I think she really didn't like the lace. It just didn't really suit her very well. As soon as we put it on her, she screamed. And some people say that's good luck with the baptism. But this was our trial run a couple days before the baptism. We put the gown on her and took this picture, and I think a picture really does say 1,000 words. I was really excited about this baptism gown though because it's the one that I wore and it's the one my sister wore, so it's truly a family heirloom. And I was really happy that my daughter was able to wear it. And I bet you're wondering when I'm going to get to the end of this presentation. And I'm here to tell you that I just have a little under a minute left to talk to you. So I'll tell you about the chair that my daughter's sitting in. It's a purple chair. It's one we've had for several years. Bought it at Mathis Brothers here in Tulsa. And gets covered with cat hair pretty easily because of the dark purple. That would be one of its downfalls. Other than that, it's a very comfy chair, great for reading. It's in a good position in our living room, so we get some late afternoon sunlight. Good place to cuddle with cats and babies. What else can I tell you? Let's see. I can tell you that It was my pleasure to talk to you here today. That I'm sorry if you're still listening to the end of this presentation. And I hope that we find that this is a good medium to use for other presentations in the future. And once you have a script and some more things to talk about, it'll be much easier. It won't be rambling for 20 minutes on end like I was.